it just becomes just a rash. We've seen it before, just rash kicking shit all over the place and hoping something happens. It has its place, but actually, you can see what happens when people actually, I suppose, get the feel for each other and know where they are and communicate and have just got respect for each other.
Yeah, that shows that, because of that pass, obviously that's something in probably they practiced in prior to the game, but the fact is that he hits that first time. If he takes a touch, he gets shut down.
Yeah.
So he might he's kind of waiting there for it.
Yeah.
And he knows that when this comes in, I'm hitting it first time. We've done this on the training ground. Chances are it'll go in.
Yeah.
It just, it looked well rehearsed.
Yeah.
What I loved about that pass, though, was the way that he basically switched it back from his right to his left. Mings just fell on his arse. And as Mings is getting up, Kulusevski is calmly just waiting for the right second to pass that ball. He's not panicking. He's not.
No,
he's just making sure that it's going to get to the person who's going to take the shot. And it was a great finish by Sonny. So really impressed by that. Beautiful goal.
I saw the Newcastle game. I saw there was a Newcastle fan. He posted that Joel Linton pushed over Bentancur, and then someone just put underneath it, "You lost 5-1."
Yeah, they were hammered, weren't they? Apart from that free kick, they had pretty much nothing else going on in that game. Yeah, amazing, really. So Conte seems happy nowadays, doesn't he? In his post presses, his pre-game presses, he seems very upbeat. None of this, post Burnley, I'm not good enough, please get rid of me, and all that kind of stuff. He's now. Do you get the feeling with Conte? He's now thinking, I know how to get fourth now. I just know that we're going to do it, because he's that kind of manager. He's very obsessed with winning. Yeah, he's obsessed with it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a winner. That we need to get fourth, because then I personally would say if we get fourth, I would think Kane would stay, because I think his and Conte's relationship is very good.
It's easier to stay, isn't it? Because it's Champions League. Everybody's going to be happy that it's Champions League.
Well, don't forget how he was very clever in what he said last time, which is, as long as the club and the owners are showing ambition, then there's still something here for me to fight for, or words to that effect. So he didn't shut off his, he hasn't completely he hasn't completely shot himself in the face. He has, basically said, so if by ambition you mean we're patching up the squad and we get fourth and we're back in the Champions League and we've got a world-class manager and we're going to keep building, he can very easily say, well, no, I'm quite happy here, mate. Just, let's see what happens next season.
I think the problem is, though,
he could almost tie himself to Conte's contract and say, well, actually, if we do well and Conte stays, then I'm happy to. And if we don't and he fucks off, then so am I.
See, the thing is, though, is it Kane's decision, though? Because this summer he'll have 2 years left on his contract. We might have been over this before, but he's got 2 years left on his contract. And I think it's key, because as soon as you go into that second year, you're effectively going into your final year as well, because you're either having to make a decision that year, whether you re-sign a new contract. And if you don't, by the time it's got to the end of that second year, that means you're effectively gearing up for a Bosman. So does Levy say, I'm just going to take a total hit on this because we're not losing any money on Kane, effectively, because we never spent any money on Kane, and we keep him here, hope that he signs a new one, but at least we've got him here for another season or another 2 seasons, because by the time it gets to the end of the first year, you're not going to get much for him anyway. And,
although we have seen with some high-profile players in the last year, their contract, they've gone for still big money. So
true.
I personally think it will come down to a lot about what happens in the summer, and if again, as you mentioned about showing ambition, if we are showing ambition early enough, I don't think we can wait. I think if we show it early enough, then Kane may well sign a new contract and things look rosier. But also the other thing about where we're at with the Champions League, going back to another point, being in that position, one of the things that I thought was quite clever about what Conte said to kind of motivate the players, and you might some people might laugh about it being small time, but he was saying, look, where we're at, this was several weeks ago when we were miles off it. Mm-hmm. That it would be like winning a big trophy to finish in the top four because of what it would do for the club, where it leaves us, as a club, and for the possibility of signing this type of player. And he put that out there as like a challenge, if it would be akin to winning something. So that's what they've been striving for.
It would feel like it. I mean, if you put things in perspective, getting fourth this year is pretty difficult because Man United have invested a lot. I know they're not playing very well. West Ham probably had their best season ever. And probably that'll be their last season like that. They'll be finished. And Arsenal are, they think they're in a resurgence with that bloke that runs them. So definitely. I think getting fourth would be a massive achievement.
I think it definitely would. Like it's just like it's like winning a cup or whatever. The FA Cup, all big teams go out to small teams every now and again. It's quite common, isn't it? Like it's not uncommon to get beaten by a smaller team in the FA Cup.
It's not rude, is it? It's not rude.
No, like especially away as well. It's not uncommon. Like giant killings happen. That's what the FA Cup is born on. That's what it's all about.
It is, yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world. So obviously getting fourth would be much better than winning that trophy in my eyes.
Yeah.
I get shivers just thinking about going back there next season and the Champions League theme played when we're at the Lane.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. It's an amazing stadium for Champions League, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's why everyone took the piss a bit and said, getting back in, getting fourth is like winning, getting a cup. That's how because you haven't got any proper cups, Tottenham, and all that kind of bollocks. But the reality is, for the last 2 or 3 seasons, we've seen our star has been tarnished, and we've dropped lower and lower through the European competitions. We've cycled through 2 other managers. So it would be a statement with a small s, let's say, which would mean, well, actually, we found a manager, we've got a team, we're back in the top flight football. That's a pretty dramatic turnaround for within one season.
And
I agree.
Go from Conference League with Nuno, which is where we started. I can't. It feels like forever ago. But I'm sure it's not.
It does, doesn't it? It seems like ages ago.
Yeah, I know.
I tell you what, Mourinho. I keep saying like these things, thinking,
"Am I talking about this season? Oh my god, I can't remember what the hell's going on." But if you think that we started when we started the season with Nuno in the European Conference League, and where we could end up, which is with Conte back in the Champions League, that's a pretty big turn on a penny. So I think we should kind of celebrate that to a degree, but then I don't think. What I've said is I don't think then people should be complacent and go, well, look what we can do. I think I've made the make champagne out of lemonade comment. I don't want people to think that that's the problem fixed. I'm spending money now. Conte can get a tune out of these guys. Great, we can put the checkbook away and we can just see what happens because I don't think that's going to cut it.
I don't think that will be the case. I think if we manage to secure top 4. Then anybody in their right mind will see this as a golden moment now to capitalize, and I think you're also going to have, because there's a lot of players up for free. They're not going to want to move to a club that's not in the Champions League. Some of the players that we're after, so to be able to get those, like if it is, I know Dybala keeps we keep hearing about that again, but players of that ilk won't come to a team playing Europa or Conference League. So it just opens things up for us massively. That's why it is so important. That's why, really, if we won the FA Cup, wonderful, but that's not going to get a Dybala.
Yeah, no, agree.
Playing in the Champions League and being in amongst the reckoning again because you're being taken seriously, and you're then able to attract those sort of players will then in turn mean that next season we're going to compete again and take the next step up.
Yeah, that's right. It makes it difficult for everybody else. Yeah. You got to build on it so that next season will, I imagine, knowing Conte, he's going to try and win the league next year, isn't he? I know people think that's absolutely mad, but that's actually what he wants to do, isn't it? That's
going to have to bolster the squad.
Yeah,
100%. You know, if Conte was to leave due to lack of investment, then where do we actually go from there?
Well, that's the point I think that people have made a lot, which is you're running out of options at this level, at this time. You're running out of other world-class managers that you can possibly bring in. And I know there's a romance about we'll get Poch back, won't we, type thing. But the reality is that isn't going to. I don't think that would progress us.
No. Probably wouldn't.
To me, more. I mean, I thought that could happen, but the more I think about it, I'm not sure Conte will walk away. I think he really sees he's building something here, and the players are 100% buying into it. If he gets the ones that he wants, I think he thinks he's onto something. Because wherever he goes after this, he's got to start again. And he's already into a project here, which is starting to work.
Yeah,
you know, the plan is coming together.
Before Lee on the pod. Before Bentancur and Kulusevski came in, like he was winning games and he had no different players to Nuno. And he was motivating them, and we were actually playing quite good football at times, and he had no different players. So with the investment, I think, and a bit of backing, he probably will want to stay.
Although I do think Bentancur and Kulusevski has totally transformed this team in terms of its balance.
Definitely.
But if I can single one other player out, Romero, I mean, I can't think of a better defender since Ledley King. I mean,
it's got to be Ledley. Yeah, it's got to be Ledley. Obviously, going back a very long way, I remember Richard Goff. He was here for a season. He was.
And he reminds me of him a bit, actually.
Yeah.
But I guess that's because you've got. I don't know. He seems to be a smart person. He can read. He reads the game, reads the pitch, and is actually a thinker.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's. I'm not saying he's hatless. What I am saying is he's clearly a thinker. He's not just going in boots first and seeing what happens, like we've seen with some of our other defenders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we loved that we had a magnificent pairing in Toby and Jan, and they were top draw. But I think this guy's potential. What is he? 23. I mean,
I think he's a better defender than what they were.
I think he is,
but
and
I
he's
think
got the aggression.
I think they were
well.
great footballers, but he's a great defender.
And he runs, and the way he gets up that pitch and joins in the attack is just so important to the way we play. I think he's got everything, and like I say, at 23, I mean, what will he be like? 26, 27?
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, so we just really need to sort out our wing backs, because I'm not really convinced with any of our wing backs, to be honest.
No.
Even Reggie, who seems to like all the celebrations after every goal, and Cess, who he's very young, but like Reggie, but they neither of them look the finished article yet, and Emerson, I've got no idea what the hell's going on there, but but he seems to be doing all right at the moment. So can't blame too much.
But I think the thing there. So, and I was kind of thinking about this, thinking, okay, so if you've lost Doherty, then what? But I think it is a case that you've got solid, you've got solidity in Romero. Davis is solid. You've got there's enough solid players around them. But okay, if you have got Royale and Reggie, let's say, in front of them, going, I wouldn't say you can afford for them to be slack, but you have got coverage at the moment for the rest of the season. You have got coverage on them to make sure that you can account for their shortcomings.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean to say they're good enough for where we might want to get to next season, and it's possible. I think them and some others will be moved on at the soonest opportunity. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think we've got enough around them now to kind of go, all right, well, we could, a bit of damage limitation here. They're not dreadful. Well,
the system works well enough, doesn't it? That those players can come in and out, and they'll be okay.
I think you're exactly right. And also, we've got 7 games left, and we know exactly what those games are. Our next 3 games are moderately, well, they're meant to be pretty simple. Compared to a packed schedule, they're all basically at weekends, no midweek games. Whereas next season, you're definitely going to have to up the quality. because if you're gonna be playing Champions League and Premier League, you just got to have it.
Yeah, agreed. So that's where I kind of feel like if you went down the